What's up, Comic Book Nation? BD here with your top geek stories on September 26th. We are running through this weekend's news, which includes a new Luke Cage trailer, the pilot episode of one of Comicbook.com's new series, Ben Affleck's Batman due date, the weekend box office, and an epic concert which should possibly revolutionize how we watch movies and TV. I mean, seriously, it was really cool. All that and more in today's Comic Book Now. With Luke Cage less than 5 days away, Marvel and Netflix have released a brand new trailer for the upcoming series, and we're going to start off today's show by taking a look at it. Check this out.
This place is my reputation, my legacy, my blood. And when the smoke clears, I promise you, I'm gonna be the king.
He shielded the king. Blood everywhere, none of it his. He had bullet holes in his shirt. How did he not get hit?
That shotgun blast alone should have killed you. You're amazing.
I don't want to be different than anybody else.
People need you.
Cops can only do so much.
Harlem's about control, power.
Politics is where the power is.
It's gangsters like me that let you hold on to what you got.
You never really know what anyone is capable of.
There is nothing that can hurt you. So what the hell are you afraid of?
Major, you a slave to a page in my rhyme book. Big money, playboy, your time's up. With them gangsters.
I'm gonna take his rooks,
Got that.
his knights, his queen.
Y'all got hit last night.
Took damn near every penny I got.
You need to take his ass out. You find his weakness, and you squeeze.
Don't be a hero.
I'm not the hero type.
Looks to me like that's what you've always been.
You wanna go to war? I'll take you to war. You don't have enough people. You want some? I don't have time for this. Snap, you Luke. It's you. No, man, it's you. Oh, man, PLO style was my joy back in the day. Sweet Christmas. You double XL? Way ahead of you, homie.
Major.
First of all, Luke Cage himself is a fellow South Carolina Gamecock like yours truly. So although we are struggling in football this season, admittedly, we are kicking ass in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So take that, world. Also, I want to point out, though, that we are kicking off a new series at Comicbook.com called Major Issues, in which we break down the first appearances of all your favorite comic book characters, and even some of the more obscure roles. This week, we are focusing on the characters of Luke Cage in celebration of Friday's release, and we'll be giving away issues starting tomorrow until Friday. You can win the issues at Comicbook.com starting tomorrow, and today, we are happy to premiere our first episode of Major Issues hosted by Chris Killian, focusing on the first appearance of Luke Cage. Check this out.
Luke Cage, your very own personal superhero for hire. But where did he come from? Today on Major Issues, we find out. Sweet Christmas! Welcome to Major Issues, where we show you where all your favorite characters come from. In this episode, we explore the first appearance of the original hero for hire, Power Man himself, Luke Cage. Zero relation to Nick. Luke Cage debuted right here in Luke Cage Hero for Hire #1 in June 1972. Created by Archie Goodwin and John Romita Sr., thanks in part to the hugely successful blaxploitation film genre of the early 70s. That's right, Luke Cage is Shaft with superpowers. That's awesome. And come on, literally everything about this first appearance says power. Those metal gauntlets, that headband, the giant chain belt that I wouldn't even be able to lift off the ground, let alone use it to keep my pants up. What about this open yellow shirt that's begging to be shot at by bullets. It just screams, bulletproof skin, sucker! Plus, I get all the ladies. You've got to be one intensely secure individual to rock these threads. Now, this is a classic origin issue that is chock full of early 70s geeky goodness, with characters who pop off words like jelly liver or mealy mouth, and a scientist that even tells Luke Cage to just ease down into the chemicals. Sadly, no one in this particular issue gets called a jive turkey. I checked. Personally, my favorite moment from this issue is when Luke Cage has the epiphany of becoming a superhero for hire while, as fate would have it, he's at a freaking costume shop. While Luke Cage, as played by Mike Coulter on the Netflix series, has clearly been modernized, don't think for a second that we here at ComicBook.com don't relish your early days, Power Man. Now, if you jelly livers feel like catching up on Strong Daddy Cage's early days, visit your local comic shop and pick it up. And if it's a little out of your price range, you can download it at various digital distribution services. For ComicBook.com, I'm Chris Killian, and we'll see you next issue.
We will have major issues every day this week, all focused on Luke Cage, and you can win comic books. I'm serious, so stay tuned for that. And yes, I'm reading the comments, and I know everyone is super hyped on Method Man popping up in that Luke Cage trailer. But moving on, a Batman movie is apparently a bit closer than we may have expected. Time Warner CEO Jeff Bewkes weighed in on the matter and had this to say. Ben announced a Batman movie that he's going to direct, write for. I think it's a year and a half out, so the strategy worked. Now, I was on their set, the Justice League set out in London, when Ben confirmed he is directing the next Batman film, like Bewkes was just referencing. Right after saying that, he went on to say that Warner Brothers has a target release date, which he doesn't see fitting because he knows what happens when you make a movie on a script that doesn't have a satisfying outcome so far. Cracking a bit of fun at himself. Geely. And Batman vs. Superman. And he said that he will make it when he decides it's ready, so he's working with Jeff Johns on that. But we'll see if Bewkes is on the mark or if that statement is as accurate as the one which preceded it, calling Batman vs. Superman a huge success. It's subject to your opinion. But speaking of successful movies, The Magnificent Seven won the box office this weekend, hauling in $34 million domestically. Chris Pratt and Denzel Washington leading a charge, followed by a $20 million weekend for Storks. Third place was handed to Tom Hanks' Sully in its third weekend, and Bridget Jones's Baby, Blair Witch, and Snowden rounded out the top six. So that was a good weekend for the box office, first weekend of fall. Over the weekend, though, Michael Giacchino hosted a concert in Los Angeles in celebration of the 12th anniversary of Lost. The greatest show of all time, don't argue with me on that. Prior to the show, Giacchino was joined by executive producer Carlton Cuse for a Q&A, where he confirmed that The Incredibles 2 is on the way and he's very excited about it, as are all the rest of us. It's about time. I have a quick clip from the concert, which paired with live music to the opening sequence of Lost. It was amazing. You gotta just check this out. I would seriously pay considerable amounts of money to watch movies and TV shows in that format. I mean, imagine going into Doctor Strange on November 4th, which is also scored by Giacchino, and having a live orchestra playing the music as the movie plays beside them. It was seriously a one-of-a-kind experience that should definitely be considered, because I would pay some extra ticket prices for that. Now, we're going to get to some of your questions right now. Whatever you guys want to talk about, leave them in the comment section. It's all fair game, so start leaving your thoughts and concerns right now. I have your comments up live. Everyone's talking about Method Man. Everyone's talking about that concert, pointing out Hurley and everything. It's super exciting. So let's see if we have any questions. The Incredibles 2 is coming summer 2019. Who else is ready for it? Says Sky Patterson. Sky, you've been with us every day now, so thank you for that. We definitely, and you were with us watching Gotham the other night. I remember you, Sky Patterson. I think we're all pretty hyped for Incredibles 2 with Brad Bird returning to direct. It's been how many years since the first Incredibles, and we're all super hyped. I mean, that's the best Fantastic Four movie ever made, right? So yeah, how is Shazam going to fit into the DCU, asks Ryan Ritchie. Very little is actually known about Shazam, so I actually had the chance to talk to Hiram Garcia, so I'm glad you asked that. The producer, he's The Rock's producer. He does Ballers with The Rock. He's doing Fast and Furious with The Rock, and he said that, he didn't really tell me how it ties in, but he said that the movie is going to be a ton of fun. He's been a huge fan of Shazam his whole life. It's going to be heavily influenced by the Alex Ross Kingdom Come run from DC Comics, so I think it's going to be... I think we're going to see this in all the DC movies. They're going to start to turn to more fun, although they're going to keep that grit, darkness. I think they have to at this point. They're going to commit to that. They don't want to go back on it, but I think they're also going to inject them with fun, which we started to see in Suicide Squad, which I know people had problems with Suicide Squad, but you can't argue that whether or not the movie was good on a script basis, it was fun to watch. Deadshot was fun. Harley Quinn was fun. So I think we'll start to see more of that, and it'll be planned from the beginning instead of reshot and added in later, which will be a good thing, right? What else we got? Star Wars Rebels Season 3, my thoughts. We talked about that on Friday. I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't watched Star Wars Rebels. Our Lucas Siegel, if you want to know more, I would tweet at him, Lucas Siegel. Even Chris Killian was talking about it on Friday while I was at the Lost concert. So for Star Wars, you're going to want to go to Lucas on that. Can't wait for Shazam, April 5th, says Sky Patterson. Fast 8 news, says Blake Blackburn. I don't have too much Fast 8 news other than it seems like people aren't fighting anymore. The movie has wrapped production. It's in post right now. It's got a few more months till it comes out. I've heard it's going to be huge. I've talked to a few people involved with production. I mean, it just sounds gigantic. And I think that whole Vin Diesel Rock thing was blown out of proportion. Obviously, The Rock took to Facebook and talked about it, which kind of was why it blew up. But I'm hearing that it's going to be a massive movie, bigger than the rest, and how do you do that with that franchise? It seems like this movie just keeps ramping it up. Let's do just a couple more questions. Live action Zelda. I'm not hearing anything about that. I know it's something everybody is really rooting for. There's actually one time on YouTube saw this amazing live action like Zelda fan made thing. It was really cool. I wish I could remember the title of it because it's just saying that was useless. G.I. Joe 3 on hold. Did The Rock drop out? I think if The Rock does it, they'll do it. If he doesn't, they won't. Because remember, they killed off the other lead actor. I'm not going to drop spoilers here. But I think that if The Rock comes back, if he has time in his schedule for that, which he really doesn't have time for right now, he will come back and do another G.I. Joe movie, and that's the only way I think we'll get another one. Otherwise, I think they're going to start building a whole new universe at Paramount. So we'll see if The Rock and that G.I. Joe franchise is a part of it. One more question. Let's see. Love the series, though. Civil War poster on the back. Yeah, we got a couple sweet Civil War posters. Check that out. I'm Team Iron Man, by the way. I'm not afraid to say it. Proudly Team Iron Man. Flashpoint comic, that's right. Flashpoint starts in just a couple weeks. Thoughts on the Power Rangers movie? You mean Iron Man 4? With all the suits. I didn't grow up a huge Power Rangers fan, but that said, everyone in the office who did is incredibly hyped for it. I know the comments, I do read the comments, and everybody's like, oh, this looks like Iron Man 4, these suits look stupid, whatever. There's a few people who say there are a few people who are genuinely excited in the comment section. So I think it looks cool. I like the cast. I like how they're having Elizabeth Banks play the villain. I think it's cool that they threw Bryan Cranston in there. Like I said, though, didn't grow up a huge Power Rangers guy. I will watch the hell out of that movie and go in open-minded, obviously, and give you my thoughts when it arrives next year. But yeah, so that's all we have time for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching. We will be live tonight following the second episode of Gotham's third season with a live interview featuring David Mazouz. Yup, that's right, the young man playing Bruce Wayne right here on ComicBook.com tonight. Chris Killian will be hosting, so bring your questions. Thank you so much for being a part of the show, Comic Book Nation. To talk more, hit me up on Twitter at BrandonDavisBD, and for all your top stories and more, head over to ComicBook.com and follow us on social media at ComicBook Now, at ComicBook, and all those great channels. See you there.